Hello everybody and welcome to the video on the central limit theorem assignment. That's exercise 2. What we're going to be talking about today is how you can start working on the assignment, just so I can try to head off any potential questions before I get questions like what is this assignment, what am I even supposed to do, that kind of stuff. That's the purpose of this video, is to kind of answer some of those questions. So I'm going to go ahead and try to switch over to the assignment so you can see it, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I have it up. Let me see if I can put it up on the screen for you. There we go. So you should see it now. Sorry for the delay. And it might be kind of small on your screen, but it says there are 120 possible samples of size 3, which can be drawn from this population of 10 scores. And then they give you the 10 values: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So what they want you to do is, and you can see, if I scroll down a little bit, you can see that they give you 120 boxes. And I think the numbering, I hope it's right, but, well, it kind of, some of it gets crunched onto there. So it goes from 22 to 67, but 23 is up here. It doesn't so much matter that you stay exactly with the numbers. You could just record down to the last available spot, and then when you get down there, you can start at the top and work your way down again. The point is that there are 120 blanks, and then you can see a little M next to it with an equal sign and another blank. The blanks are for the sample of 3, just so you can record the numbers that you're going to use for your sample. And then the M with the equal sign and the other blank is for the mean of that sample. Now, we've talked about means. That's just summing up the numbers. So you're going to sum up the 3 numbers that you pick, and you're going to divide by 3, and that'll give you the average of those 3 numbers. And you're going to do that 120 times. There are only 120 possible samples, and to do this correctly, you don't want to repeat any of those samples. For instance, 3, 4, and 5 is the same sample as 5, 4, 3, or 4, 5, 3. So it really helps to work from the left and move to the right and never really kind of go back. Otherwise, you're in danger of repeating some of the samples. So let me see if I can show you, just to get you started, what this is going to look like. So I'm going to try to switch over to the document camera here in a second, as soon as I get a piece of paper, and I'll try to show you how you can start this out. Let's see. Hopefully the bulb is working on the document camera. Let's see. Let me see if I can go ahead and switch over. Okay, so you should be seeing what I'm seeing, which is hopefully the document here. And hopefully, again, it's bright enough. It doesn't quite look very bright to me today, but who knows. Anyway, let's start with, let's say we have the sample up here. I'm just going to put it down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And make sure that was all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope. 12. Sorry. Okay. So you have these sorts of 12 numbers. I mean 10 numbers. And from that, you're going to draw little samples of 3. So when you're starting out, you would go, for the first one, you would go 3, 4, and 5. Okay? And then you take the mean, which is just summing up all the numbers, 3 plus 4 plus 5, so that's 7 plus 5 is 12, divided by 3 would give us a mean of 4. okay? And then you're going to do the next set, which would be, if you stay with 3, then the next value that you can pick is, and let's say we stay with 3 and 4 so that we can get all the 3 4s. We would go 3, 4, skip 5 because we already have it, 3, 4, 6. So our next one is 3, 4, and 6. Take the mean of that. 3 and 4 is 7, plus 6 is 13. 13 divided by 3 should be 4.33. And so you can put 4.33 for the mean. Then you go to the third one, 3, 4, 7. Right? And then you find its mean. 3 and 4 is 7, plus 7 is 14. 14 divided by 3 is 4.67. And again, you can round to 2 decimal places. But the point is that you're going 3, 4, and then you're just picking the next number in the sequence, and you just go in order, moving from left to right. So 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 6, 3, 4, 7. And I'm not going to figure the means for all these, but the next one would be 3, 4, 8. Fifth one would be 3, 4, 9. Then we get 3, 4, 10. 7 is 3, 4, 11. Oops. 3, 4, 11, sorry. And then 8 is 3, 4, 12. Okay, so once you get to the end, you have to go back now, and you're still going to use 3, but you've used up all the 4s, the 3, 4 combinations. So you'll want to start with 3, 5 and work your way from left to right. So the 9th one would be 3, 5, 6. The 10th one would be 3, 5, 7. The 11th one, 3, 5, 8. 12, 3, 5, 9. 13, 3, 5, 10. 14, 3, 5, 11. And 15, 3, 5, 12. And then, of course, on the 16th one, we'd go back. We've used up all our 3s and 5s. So we'd start 3, 6, and it'd go 3, 6, 7. And we'd continue on. 3, 6, 8, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 10, 3, 6, 11, 3, 6, 12. We're finding the means for each one of these. So the assignment is pretty tedious. I wouldn't procrastinate. I wouldn't wait till the last minute to do this assignment, or you're going to hate yourself. But it shouldn't be all that hard now that we've had some practice calculating the mean. Again, it's just trying not to get any repeating sets of numbers. So you'll continue on, but when you get to the end, the last one should be, after you've exhausted the 3s, let's talk about that first. So after we've done 3, 11, 12, that would be the last. So this is sort of dot, 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 right? We're continuing down. And then let's just say we get to 3, 11, 12, right? And we find its mean. Well, then we have to start. We've used up all the 3s at that point, so then we start 4s. So then we go 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 7, right? And dot, 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 on down till we get to 4, 11, 12. And then we would do 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 8, dot, 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 down to 5, 11, 12, right? And you keep going that way. And the last one that you should get to, if you've done it correctly, your 120th sample should be 10, 11, 12. And that should be the last one. Now, again, don't necessarily link the samples that I've selected with the numbers next to them because the numbering's a little off on the sheet. I think it had to do with when I converted it from a Word document to a PDF. It didn't record the columns quite correctly. But anyway, once you have your 120 samples of 3 and you figured the means for all of them, let's go back to the assignment real quick. and I'll show you. Okay, so let me just make sure we're sharing that. Yep, okay. So after you've done all these means, they go on to the second page. Then it says, next, make a frequency distribution of the means you found for each sample. And the only difference between what we've done, frequency distribution for exam 1 and the frequency distribution they want here, is that we're going to record, instead of X's, we're going to record X bars, which are means. So really you could think of it as, I know they use the symbol M here, but that's the symbol that the APA uses in journals to refer to the mean. And we've learned the symbol for a sample mean, which we've calculated sum of X over N as X bar. So when you're making your frequency distribution, then I would like you to do this. Okay, make sure we're sharing that. So when you make your frequency distribution, instead of an X column, you're going to write X bar, and then you're going to have your F column for frequencies. And so like the first one, the 3, 4, 5 sample, the mean was 4, right? So we'd write a 4 in for the X bar, the mean. The next sample, 3, 4, 6, had a mean of 4.33, right? The next one had a mean of 4.67. That was 3, 4, and 7. So we would record all the different means, right? Unique means that we got. So all of the unique numbers that we get from means. And then the frequency column is reserved for how many times those numbers occurred. So let's say that 4 just occurs once, which I think it does. So we'd put a 1 there. And then if 4.33 occurred twice, we'd put a 2 there. And once we get all of the means and the frequencies in, then the last part of the assignment is, and it's really kind of hard. I think people miss this a lot because it's right down at the bottom of the screen. And really it says on the back side of this page, make a frequency polygon from the frequency distribution. Now a frequency polygon is just basically a line graph of sorts, but it uses dots where each of the means will be. You'll put a dot at the center of that mean, and then you'll connect the dots essentially. And what you should see, because of this being an assignment on the central limit theorem says that if you drew all possible samples from a population and you were to plot those samples out into one distribution, all the sample means out into one distribution, you would get a distribution that's normally distributed or approximately normally distributed. So just, as we talk about normal distribution, as the book talks about normal distribution and you learn about the normal curve, we should see that type of curve or close to that type of curve when we make our frequency polygon. And so the last thing I'm going to show you before we end this video is just to go back to the document camera and make sure that you know what I'm talking about when I say frequency polygon. So what you'll do is on the y-axis here, you're going to put your frequencies, how many times they occurred, right? And on the x-axis, you're going to put all of your means, x bars. So you'd have like 4, 4.33, 4.67, and you just list out all your means. And then if 4 occurred once, then where 4 and 1 intersect, you'd put a point. Right? You start at the baseline here, 0, 0, and you drop to that point. And then let's just say that I don't know this to be true, but let's say 4.33 occurs twice. So we put a dot here at 2 and 4.33, and we just connect the dots. And eventually, as we start connecting them, we should end up with something that approximates kind of a normal curve. So it's going to look something like that, or it should if we did the assignment right. And again, you'll just have little dots along the way for where your means are. So that's the assignment. Hopefully that's understandable. If you have any questions, of course, you can email me or contact me in some other way, and I'd be happy to help. But thank you for listening.